this story lies in outer dimension. One of beeps, one of boops. The reality where it becomes HD Flash.
Welcome back to Terror Zone, geeks and gamers. Today, I have the granddaddy of all horror games, Haunted House, for the Atari 2600. Haunted House on the Atari 2600 is exactly what it says. It's a game where you go through a haunted house. First-time players of this game might not understand fully what is going on, and for people who wish to play this game, I would highly advise to read the manual. Not only does it give you a story of why exactly you're in the haunted house, but it lays out your objective. So while going through the haunted house, you have up to, I think it's like 4 floors. And while traveling through the floors, you have locked doors, you have keys you can find for the locked doors, and the whole point is so you can gather the pieces to, I think it's like a lamp or something, or like a trophy, I don't know. The pieces of this vase, and once you get all the pieces, you can get the fuck out of there. That's the basic premise. While going along, you have different ghosts and spiders and ghouls that'll come and try to scare you away. It's actually pretty cool. This game actually has has a few different difficulty settings and game types. The best one is the one I'm playing here, where you're in the dark, because that you have to kind of feel your way around. And that actually, honestly, kind of does lead to a few scares, because you don't know what's around each corner, and you kind of have to memorize in your head where you came from and where you're supposed to go. It actually works really, really well for this kind of game on the Atari. It's actually really impressive that they were able to kind of pull off this kind of a horror atmosphere on the Atari 2600. Now, granted, this is not as in-depth as, modern horror games. You're not gonna have a deep story or anything like that. It's just a simple game where you go through a haunted house. But I think it was executed as well as it possibly could be on the Atari. And the only hindrance is the fact that, if you bought this game without a manual, especially back in the day, because they didn't have the internet, you would not really be able to tell what's going on. You could kind of piece it together, but it's kind of hard to tell. It doesn't help that the only difference between each floor is the color of the bottom of the screen and the number to indicate which floor you're on. So there's that. But once again, with the limitations of the Atari 2600, I think this game is done really well. So yes, this is the spookiest game on the Atari 2600, which the Atari 2600 is one of my favorite consoles. So to see something this spooky come out of the console makes me a little happy, and it fits well here in Terror Zone. There actually is a sequel, well, not really a sequel. It's like a homebrew pseudo sequel called Haunted House 2. But I actually don't like that one as much, because it uses the same, I guess, graphics and engine and stuff as Adventure. And Adventure just doesn't lend itself well to a horror game, I'll be honest. But Haunted House works really well. I really like the ghosts that dance the jive on by. Do 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 do. They just dance on by. And also, I love that effect whenever you get hit and your eyes spin around and it goes like it's supposed to sound like thunder or something. Like that's super cool. That's a sound only the Atari 2600 could possibly make. So would I recommend Haunted House? Yes, but I would advise reading the manual or looking up the manual or just finding a guide on how to play. Because if you don't know what exactly you're doing, the game can seem kind of pointless. But if you get beyond that point and you understand what your objective is, the game is actually pretty fun and can be really, really challenging. I think this is a majorly overlooked horror classic. I think when people think of classic horror games, this isn't one that really comes to mind. But I love this game. I think this game is a lot of fun.
Hey geeks and gamers, TurboBot90013 here. Remember to subscribe to the Turbo Zone for more content. The Arcade Overlord, thank you. Stay retro. Turbo Zone.